guys. Today is Saturday, the 9th of October 2021. I just got very lucky and got my husband to unscrew the camera that was stuck on my tripod that was going on the blink. So we shouldn't have any problems now. Well, I shouldn't tempt fate. So today's case, I'm going to be looking at a viewer request. This was a viewer's auntie, Her name is Velda Chimoni, and unfortunately at the age of around 33, she was killed at her job at a Whataburger in 2001 in Phoenix, Arizona. She, however, did not resist in this robbery. There were, co-workers. They weren't shot. She was shot. And the viewer suspects, because she was in contact with a specific person that she feels has a connection to this, that it may not have been random. You know what I'm saying? That this could have been there could have been somebody else behind this that she was once connected to, like an ex. Okay, I'm not going to, I'll just refer to this person with the initial R, and this person was in prison in Florence, Arizona at the time. She was in contact with this person, apparently. And the viewer wants to know if they'll ever get justice, saying that, unfortunately, her father's family just fell apart after this. This is what happens, when a selfish person commits an act that's criminal. It doesn't just, it affects so many people. So, she's very sad that her grandmother never got to see justice for her daughter, and they want to know if it's possible. So in the future, for justice yet to be had. Now, there was precious little about this case. I don't have any pictures of Velda, unfortunately. I do like to have that because I like to put a face, humanize and letting people realize these are somebody's loved ones. This could be your auntie. So the only scrap of information I could find was the same thing that the viewer found, which was a news clipping, which I enhanced and will be probably using right now as you're, hearing this. I'll be putting it up so you can read if you can. I've blown it up and tried to keep it clear enough to be read, but we'll see. Anyhow, if you have any tips, even regarding this case of Velda Chimoni back in 2001, who was killed in the middle of a robbery. Somebody held them up. She didn't resist, and they shot her. Only her, apparently, I believe. You can contact 1-800-343-TIPS. Now, this was a number that was listed from the news article. However, I think if you have a tip, you could always call the Phoenix, Arizona Police Department or some kind of a tip line. I don't know if that's still working. It's a silent witness number. Okay, so my preliminary reading that I did before this one, I always like to kind of preface it. I checked to see if, Velda's spirit's on board, and I got her showing me the Tower, the Empress, the Five of Wands, and the High Priestess, which was definitely understated. With those cards, she's indicating something that happened to her very suddenly. It was not expected, and it changes everything. It disrupts everything, and her death certainly did. with the fact that she also had the Empress. This is a mother figure card. This is also the card, I think, of, abundance. Somebody trying to, I think, work, and identifying as a mother. The Five of Wands, having a hard time and fighting with somebody. Arguing. This is also the attack. It can be the physical, actual attack, whether it's somebody laying their hands on you or shooting you. It's assault. But it shows with the High Priestess that there's secrets here, that there's things unknown that are just veiled. So people probably know intuitively, it indicates, because the High Priestess is all about intuition. But she's saying it's not a formal, justice, understanding, settled deal. So that made me say, yes, she's ready to go. And the cards I got when I wanted to look at the subject who is a suspect, can't talk, suspect, I get the cards that show somebody that is mentally very delusional, very emotionally based, and probably has an issue with substance of some kind. I got the King of Pentacles, and I got the Three of Swords. So it showed me an adult male that betrayed and felt betrayed. I got issues that this person has with abandonment, and I think that her going on, seeming to move on, triggered an abandonment issue for them. This is no excuse. This is extremely cowardice, and not dealing with your issues correctly. And I believe this person has let it slip while they are extremely emotional or get excited or possibly under the influence that they've done this or that they did this. I did see that. So I feel like there's a Queen of Wands that knows. And it looks like it's a family member that is aware of this, of his. He may not even remember saying this, but at some point, I feel that, in an extremely emotional state, whether it is organic or altered by substance, I think he has said something to a female relative. The overall feeling when I tapped into him was the feeling that she had betrayed him and abandoned him. And I did get the Hierophant. This is a nod toward marriage. And I believe seeking counsel as well. There was an unhappiness in that relationship. And I think he lacked ambition, motivation. And I'm shown that he was like really concerned about a female moving on without him. And it triggered this anger. And there's a lot of ego and tremendous amount of delusion that this act, I feel like, was based upon. Now that was just from my prelim. Now we're going to throw down, cards. I'm also going to probably implement the Southern Gothic Oracle. I feel kind of drawn to do that. But first I'm going to use the Tarot. So I'm going to just ask straight up if the suspect that is the one that the viewer mentioned, if this person does indeed have a link to this event with their aunt, and what we need to know. I'm going to pause for a minute because I did take my antihistamines, you guys. I feel like a broken record, but I live in a temperate place. Hold on. Okay. So this is using the Haunted House Tarot. If you're curious about this deck, it's a good deck. It wears up well. I should know because my shuffling's a bit rough. I shuffle side to side. It's just what feels comfortable to me. We all have our own little ways. Some people are like super fancy, like Johnny with Tarot's Apprentice. It's a thing of beauty to watch that man shuffle. Great channel as well. If you're really interested in political tarot and stuff like that, he's a good guy. Check him out. Okay. Now I'm focusing on Velda. Just like to have her notes in front of me. Velda Chimoni. Her birth year was approximately 67 or 68, so she would be about my age, which was also like, oh wow, you know. Okay, so let's just take a look at the first question of, was this person that she was in contact with responsible? Okay, like the viewer suspects. Let's ask that. And what we need to know. And I ask the Most High to help me so I don't get, too confused. Spiritual help from the Most High is always welcome, and I always ask the Most High to guide my readings. And my ancestors, and that of those who I'm reading on. I think it's a group team effort, so let's see what we get. And I am a flawed person. I try to read as accurately as I can, and many times more comes to me after I review the reading. That's just natural, though. Okay, enough gabbing. So was this individual, initial R, that she was in contact with, responsible? I'm going to lay this out in a Celtic cross. Well, we definitely see a card of defense and being territorial with the Seven of Wands. Okay, this is like the heart of the matter, because what we're going to do is you kind of get a double cross in this, not to, no puns intended, but you're going to get a cross measure here with the cards. They cross each other and they kind of circle, and then you'll get a line up this way. Now, crossing this issue as a challenge, we have the moon. It's murky, hard to prove. It's also a setup. This is my setup card when I am looking at criminal cases. It's often a setup. So just by those two cards alone, I'm feeling that this was a matter where this person felt very territorial over her. The issue with that I'm shown in the preliminary reading of abandonment, feeling like this person, like Velda, was going to move on and forget about them and do well for herself, and like, oh well. They didn't like that. and very possessive with that Seven of Wands, very territorial. This can be a positive card sometimes, if you're standing up for yourself. Other times, depending on the subject matter and the cards around it, it can be possessive, territorial, like I said. And we get that moon crossing. Well, the moon is murky. The moon is somewhat hidden. It means, just like if you go out in the moonlight, you can make out some things fairly clearly, but it's not like in sunlight. And it's also an attempt to hide, hide facts, the truth, or it's elusive. Okay. The basis card is a King of Swords. This can be planning. This is a male energy that has that strategic type of thought. The thing I'm really noticing that immediately stood out when I set this card down was the chessboard. And that sense of strategic planning. This shows a very shrewd, crafty individual. And why would I get, if somebody was just going to rob a place, why would I get that territorial Seven of Wands? No. I think, yes, I think this person, our viewer, is correct in so far with what I'm getting in their assumption. Let's continue, though. Always keep an open mind, because things can be very fluid. Crowning. This is the card that crowns the reading, is the Nine of Cups. This is all about satisfaction. It is emotions, and I got that this man in question is very emotional, to the point of being delusional. And I think people just kind of like shake their head when he can't see them. I mean, I think he's a scary dude. I wouldn't, I don't imagine people, stand up to him too often. This is about satisfaction. To me, it looks a heck of a lot like a plotted revenge. It doesn't look like it's about money at all. Not one of these cards, not one of the main meat of the reading cards is Pentacles. It's anger and animated taking action. The first card, Wands, and territory. Angry, ramped up energy. And then it's based on strategy and putting a plan together. Okay, you could understand that as a robbery, but why don't we get some money here? That's like, yes, that's what I was going for. What are you gonna get? Anyways, we know it happens, these robberies, but this is not looking like a typical robbery. Okay. In the recent past, I get the card that there's children. There's a connection of children and a past. This is nostalgia. And this is definitely, looks like to me, the mother of someone's child or children. And they most definitely know her. This is a past connection. And we have a child possibly in the picture, or children in the picture. I've always gotten that too. Lots of pages and stuff when I've just thrown a few cards down. That reminds me, I also saw that she was struggling for money for these kids. And so this job was something she was doing, but this person was so insecure that she was in contact with that it looks like from the cards I've gotten, her doing anything like that was a threat. It made them feel like she was going to leave them. Yeah, there is a relationship connection here. There's also contracts. Could this be an indication? I think firstly it's an indication when we look across, because of we have the Six of Cups, we have that territorial card of the Seven of Wands, we have the Two of Cups. This is a relationship that has murky, hidden elements to it, secrets. She told us there were secrets with the High Priestess in the preliminary reading. Okay, this reading is on fire. This is clarity. This is truth. This is the Ace of Swords that slices through BS and lies and the cover of the moon and anything else you want to throw in front of it. She's saying, yes. There's also, unfortunately, in this background, a bit of blood. This person literally has blood on their hands. I've not used this card ever in this sense, where I picked up and bothered to look at the background where there's blood. That's wild. Okay. And I did throw cards yesterday for myself, and it came up that I would get someone asking me to look at a female relative's case. So I feel like Velda wants me to read on this case. She's saying this person that is suspected by our viewer here is on point, literally, with the Ace of Swords. We can see it. That's why I like to tell people when they're looking at my readings what I'm seeing, how I'm seeing it, so that maybe they can see it too. Because often when I start, it opens up your own intuition. If I can get you to relax and just kind of listen to my voice, and you just kind of relax and you just kind of open. You're focused, but you're open. And that's what it takes. And I think we all have these abilities. It's just, like with me, a matter of, I had some, of course, that I was kind of born enhanced with, but then as I got older, I worked with symbols and did a lot of study, and here I am. So I think that everyone should do this for themselves, and some people have more of an inclination than others, but it's part of empowering yourself and having a stronger connection to divine and your ancestors. And we're all connected. So now in the environment, here's the Page of Cups. I kept getting a Page of Cups, and I think this is the Child card. In the environment, this is also a surprise. Again, but usually it is more of a lighthearted surprise. In this case, I don't feel that that's anything lighthearted, but I do feel like it is children. And if this person that is suspected had children with Velda, I feel that any aspect of, number one, she was their property and their children definitely were theirs property. And they did not want, I think, their children or child or wife, ex-wife, whatever, ex-love, being with anyone else. That's definitely clear. I also think that as child, it could also be indicating that this male is very childish. And that's not quite good enough for me either. It's not just being childish, it's delusionally bizarre. Anyhow, insecure. I do feel like children and that relationship were an issue. I mean, he's showing up as a planner, as an adult male that plans something. The Nine of Pentacles. Here's something to do with money, but it is a card about somebody becoming independent. Independent, earning their own way, not needing or depending on somebody else, and it's a female. I'm feeling wholeheartedly that this person did not want her to become independent, whether she became ever well-to-do or not, but well-to-do in the true sense of well-being, of having better esteem, finding that they don't need them, and dropping them like a hot potato. And that was the fear. Yes, oh my God. Oh. This person is involved with the Ten of Swords. And this shows that this response of theirs was extreme, and it was meant to not rob, but to kill. I also think they wanted to make it. This is the only pentacle card in this entire 10 cards, I think it is. And it's in the placement of hopes and fears. And I feel like it's definitely more of a fear of her independence. We got that already. They definitely were not about robbery. They wanted it to maybe look like it. They used that guise. That's the setup. And I think they got someone to do it. Maybe that's the King of Pentacles that I do pick up. Somebody that would do anything for money. Okay. I think that answers that part. Now, our viewer also wanted to know if she will ever, Velda, get earthly justice, because understandably it's wanted. The person that did this, that shot her, was never caught. I'm going to pull just a few extra cards from the deck I was reading with initially to see if we can get anything more. It might just talk more about like after she was killed, and if that's the case, then I'm going to go ahead and stop and do a fresh reading on itself of whether or not she will ever get earthly justice. Okay, because that's the question that the viewer wanted. And I do want to let people know, be very careful about the questions that you ask. Be certain that you're ready for what answers may come. All right. Now I'm just going to see if we get anything here. So we get, with the Death, we're getting also the Queen. I'm sorry, not the Queen, the Empress, the Mother card. This is also abundance. To me, this is a woman that knows who she is. And I just don't think he wanted her to become that. This is, oh my God, we get the Mother and the Father card. We get the Empress and the Emperor. Oh my God. And we get the Judgment card. Now, this could be that the Mother and Father knew that this guy in their heart did it. Thus, with the fact that the grandmother, her mother, Mrs. Chimoni, never got to see justice for her daughter. This also, it makes me feel like it could be the mother-father. but passing judgment on this guy as being responsible. This also shows me the ancestors do too. This because the emperor and the emperor and the empress are that kind of powerful. They are major arcana. Hi, Bear. She gets excited when I talk about the major arcana. But they are not just your average day-to-day person or even a collection of people. They are a spiritual power. They are a different level altogether. Typically, they are also typically archetypal. But they can represent actual parents, like I said, somebody that's someone who's been married and had children, and typically older. But this is also the archetype of a married couple. And we're seeing a violent end. We're seeing probably what was a very difficult relationship. I'm just looking at the fact that there's a gun in this picture. I don't think that's coincidence. And we get judgment. I think the ancestors are also saying this person did it. And is looking at showing the relationship, a married relationship, or one where there had been, or like one. This also shows karmic responsibility, which means this person will have to, whether or not they do on earth or not, they will face accountability. They're going to wish that if they didn't have earthly justice, that they had to pay that debt. It will be worse for them in spirit. It is. And that's another thing I'm going to do a reading on sometime about why, okay? But Earth School provides us a place to work out some heavy-duty stuff. And all I can say is I know from my own spiritual mentors that when people it's much harder on them spiritually when they have to account for it. That's all I can say. Okay. So, just as I was talking about earthly justice, this kind of makes me feel like maybe it will have to be left to spiritual. But we'll see. I will throw down cards. This is a card of winning. This person, I got this before, felt like they had accomplished something, that they had won, that they had sorted her out before she left them. It's that kind of like, I won. They recognize themselves as having won something. Yeah. And what they won, I think, is having... It's just creepy how these cards intuitively, pictorially, and traditionally their meanings are just telling the story. This was revenge. And he had it taken out. I'm not seeing the cards of justice, the cards that I should see for, human justice. I see him feeling like he got away with it. Again, the issue with abandonment comes up with that Eight of Cups. And feeling like you neglecting me. It can also be moving on. But this is not saying, this is not acting, this is coming forward. Is this a man also that knows he did this, that isn't coming forward? I do get people know. Okay? I got a Queen of Wands, and now I'm getting a King of Wands. This could be more than one person. This could be different kind of attributes of people that know. But I'm feeling like people know, they just haven't come forward. They're being silent. This person is known, as a bruiser. This person's reputation with the Five of Swords precedes them. there's a sense of futility that people, I think, that know have in coming forward, to be honest, because they know this person will get them. Or they have reach, shall we say. But it is that person. And we do get the sun. So I feel that at some point this person may even admit, I don't know, it might just be exposed once perhaps this person is gone and they know that they're not coming back. That could be locked up for good, never getting parole, whatever. Or I'm not being shown, I don't think this individual has passed yet. But I could be wrong. I'm not looking at that specifically. But I'm feeling really strongly that people want to wait, or may wait until they feel like this person is not a threat to them if they come forward. I think it will come out. It will end up coming out at some point. There's somebody that's got a heavy conscience with that Ten of Wands about her. And it could be another female that knows. But this is also kind of that motherly card. So this could be somebody that hears of it, knows of it, that may supply a tip. I feel like there's definitely more than one individual that could supply a tip about who is responsible. And I sure hope that they will make use of that tip and do the right thing, because I really think the ancestors would smile on them big time. And I know that. So there's people Well, with that Eight of Pentacles, that is work, that is going over something again and again, and there's a repetition to it, and we do get the Wheel of Fortune. Could this be that they would look back then into the case? I'm thinking maybe. Now, this looks like it's dependent really on them feeling that, or people feeling like this individual is not a threat, is not going to be reaching out and using someone else to take revenge, potentially. Then I see grieving, the card of grieving or loss. And fighting with the Five of Wands. Arguing. This is like physical. This is also a physical act that causes a death. An act of violence that causes a passing that people grieve. I think they could look at that case again. Why not? It's a cold case. I think we all should get on, the horn and push if we can. I know that they're limited and there's issues, but maybe if we could if they think we're a squeaky wheel, then they think, you're a squeaky wheel. But I feel like this case will come back, may end up coming back. There might be tips that come in once this individual, they don't feel like there's a threat from him or anyone that might act out for him. I feel like there's concern. See the emotions attached here. Overflowing. And this makes me feel like it's also, of course, for Velda's family. This is a contentious, upsetting issue. The secrets within a family and within a community that people know. People know. His family, I think, know. Or certain people within that family and the community. It's extended because that Ten of Pentacles, it can be word of mouth, even if they aren't, directly related, like his first cousins or whatever. It trickles down a bit, right? People that know. It's going to take time. I believe there should be pursuit of this, because I do get temperance and the need for refining a collection of, I feel like, different things. This could be the pursuit of this case, like reopening it, looking at it again with that queen. That could be a private eye, that could be a detective, or somebody that is doing their own research in a variety of ways and kind of bundling it up, bringing it together, you know, just like when you do research and you're like your term papers, if you ever had to do them. Ugh. But this is one that you would want to do. And look at that, we get the Tower and the Seven of Cups, which means there is something that occurs, that something is not, that there's a lot of, there's certain, okay. Something becomes clear. Some of the falsehoods with that Tower will fall down and be laid bare. There's some really dramatic things yet, I think, to have happen in connection. And perhaps in connection to the person and persons responsible. And then you go to people that know. And there's that delusional card, you know. It's also the card of possibly using substance. Could this be something that happened suddenly as a use of substance, if this person might pass or something, and then people feel more comfortable coming forward? Maybe we're going in that direction. There is justice. Now, there's finally the card of justice. Oh, and looking at a corrupt situation, an oppressive situation, where somebody has had control. This could also be definitely drug use within a penal system. Okay, something there. With that Seven of Cups, because it can be confusing, and we've got the Tower, though, something that was might be initially confusing. There's going to be some clarity of facts, something that happens, okay? And the law, I think, looks into this situation deeper, to do with him and to do with this case. I think there is something that will pull them in to look at that. Search, yes, searching, researching, looking for facts, holding up a light, wisdom. This makes me feel like this could fall back into the hands of an active cold case, so to speak, where they're looking. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I think it could be looked at. It will take, I think, a great deal of work. But I think that there's, I think, enough circumstantial that it might be of interest to authorities to pursue it. I definitely believe the person suspected is the person connected. Okay. So, if you appreciate work like this, please thumbs up, subscribe, share with like-minded people, and make sure that your notifications are on. And if you don't see anything from me from time to time, you know, if you notice that's been a while, please double check, because sometimes people do get unsubscribed, but let's hope that doesn't happen. Anyway, I will see you in the next video or live. Take care.